I don't know about you, but I love a good local co-op gaming night. But what games are you gonna play? And you might be asking that because you clicked on this video, and it's a good thing because I've got 5 great local co-op games that I think you're gonna love. And these games aren't half bad single player either, so it's a win-win. First up, we've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate. This is a top-down action game where you play as one of the 4 Ninja Turtles fighting through rooms of enemies, and at the end you get a perk or maybe some currency, some stuff to help your run go better. Each of the turtles has their own moveset and their own tools, but these things can be modified and changed throughout your run. You can add things like an ooze effect to your regular attacks, which I think is poison, or a fire slide, which is to replace your regular slide. And the idea is that you'll put together a build that you feel really good about and also helps you clear rooms really quickly.
What price?
Your destruction.
And at the end of each area of rooms, so you've got the sewers and then you've got the docks and so on and so forth, you're gonna fight a boss. The combat can get pretty hectic in this game. There's enemies everywhere. Boss fights are kind of crazy with all their different special moves. And that's why this game is a lot more fun with friends. As a matter of fact, you can bring up to 4 players into couch co-op, which I think makes for a great time. And everyone's got their favorite Ninja Turtle, so it's gonna be up to you to figure out which one you get to play as. I've got dibs on Donatello. But if you wanted the option for one more playable character, you could get the Casey Jones and Junkyard Jam DLC. And then you can play as Casey Jones, you can swing around his hockey stick as he throws out New York City slang, although I'm gonna be honest, he sounded a little bit more like he was from Boston. And on top of playing as Casey Jones, you can also play through a bunch of different new additional rooms as well. Just know that before you can use the DLC, even if you bought it, you do have to go through one full run. And thank you Super Evil Megacorp for providing keys for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate and the DLC to the game as well. Next up is a game that you've probably heard of, but I bet you haven't tried. It's called Golf with Friends. Now this is not exactly a co-op game. It's actually more of a competitive game. Even one-on-one golfing is a blast in Golf with Friends. But let me take a step back. Golf with Friends is a really, really wacky version of mini golf. Game's got haunted houses, volcanoes, and also regular golf courses. But Golf with Friends works really well as a party game because it also supports up to 12 players. I don't know if you've ever gone mini golfing with more than 5 of your friends, but that's about the number where it starts to get crazy. Anyway, there's not too much to say about Golf with Friends because it's just a good, simple, fun time. It's the kind of game that takes almost 0 effort to learn, and after that, it's immediately fun. You're gonna challenge yourself to do all sorts of trick shots and crazy things that will eventually work out once or twice, maybe. And I can almost guarantee that you're gonna waste a lot of strokes trying to land the weird shot rather than following the course as it's laid out. But it doesn't matter because you landed a hole-in-one, and who cares if you had 16 strokes on the previous hole? Pico Park is a 2D puzzle platforming side-scroller that does wind up introducing lots of different other playstyles as well. And while this game is cooperative, you do have to get really good at communicating with your partner or team depending on how many players you bring in. And every group of puzzles has a theme. And this is really cool because you start to learn the theme as you move through it, and as soon as you master that theme, the game moves you on to the next theme. And it requires constant communication and debating and discussion on what you think you need to do to make it through that puzzle. And it's very gratifying to work through a puzzle that was originally giving you a bit of a hard time. But maybe you're looking for something a little more higher stakes with maybe a plot to enjoy. If that's the case, then hang on for just a second because we're going to talk about a game called Children of Morta. This game's got a full narrator with a voice actor behind it, really good pixel art, and you know how I love pixel art, and a solid fantasy action story. You and your eventual co-op partner will play as members of the Bergson family. This family is generationally responsible for protecting Mount Morta. One day, the seer of the group, the old lady, starts to realize some weird stuff's going on, and it's up to you and your family to go out there and figure it out. Which boils down to going out into the forest and fighting weird monsters with your weapon of choice. Before I go further, you should know that playing the co-op isn't immediately available in this game. You've got to play through like a 10 or a 15-minute prologue. It was just something I wish I knew going in, so I'm putting that information into your brain before you even start the game. But in that prologue, the game starts you off with a character named John. He's like the dad of the group, I guess. He's got a sword and a shield, and his moveset is fairly straightforward. He's got sword attacks, attacks and shield bashes. But as the game progresses, the story progresses, and more characters of the Bergson family become available for selection. And each of these family members have their own playstyles, they've got their own weapons, and they have their own skill trees as well. There's an entire RPG-like leveling system behind this game. And you're not only leveling up the characters that you play as, you're also leveling up family-wide perks. So you've got an action RPG that you can work through with a friend, and you can level up your characters and choose your favorites. But after playing Children of Morta as a single-player game, I can't tell you how relieving it is to have a partner in the fray with me. Because this game's difficulty is no joke. You have to be careful during these fights or you're gonna get overwhelmed almost immediately. But there's a little less pressure now that I know there's someone else with me in combat that not only is taking some of the aggro off of me, but in the eventuality that I do fall during a fight, I have someone there who can revive me. Provided they also don't go down in combat. PlateUp is a party co-op game where you run a restaurant with your friends. But rather than working through different stages like you might do in other cooking games, this one has you opening a restaurant and keeping it open for as long as you can. As you work through each day, you're going to unlock more upgrades for your restaurant. This will expand your menu so you get to make better and nicer foods, and it's also going to make your restaurant bigger eventually so you can serve more people. But I think the best part of this game is that there's no assigned jobs when you begin. It's up to you and your partner or partners to decide who does what. One person's got to do the dishes, one person's got to cook, another person's got to serve the food, someone else has to clean up after all the guests. It becomes very chaotic very quickly because these jobs aren't always so rigid. So you might see that the dishes are piling up and the dish person's busy cleaning up something else that they saw. So now you're the dish person even though you were supposed to be doing the cleaning, and everything gets all crazy, and this is exactly the fun of PlateUp. And just based on the two-player experience, I can only imagine what it's like when you add more players to this game. Because it's frantic, it feels like it should be stressful, but it's somehow very much fun. I'm always impressed with these cooking games that make a job feel fun. How can I make real life cooking be as fun as it is in PlateUp? Although, to be completely honest, I'm usually burning food in these video games, so maybe it's better to have them be separate. I had a really good time finding these games because some of these games I've known about for a long time. Like Children of Morta, I played single player not realizing that they had added co-op down the line. So whether you enjoy these games as co-op experiences or you decide to just play them all single player, let me know in the comments which one you like the most. My partner and I have been getting into lots of different co-op games lately because we usually play Wheel of Fortune on the Switch, which by the way is a great time, but we want some options. But I think of all the games on this list, I was most surprised by Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate because it's like an intro to the roguelike experience, all while still being a solid roguelike action game. If you like this video and any of the games on this list, then make sure you like the video. And make sure you share this video with your co-op buddies or your partner to figure out which game you're gonna play next. And if you wanna see more of this, then make sure you subscribe to my channel and click the bell. And of course, thank you very much for letting me talk your ear off about 5 co-op games that I think are pretty easy to pick up and play, and I will see you in the next video.